to start off with, was just doing Google searching of like places that I could do courses locally. But the reason, and I kind of met with a few people who were linked with other courses. And then just by chance, Trish is somebody who I know through my husband. And I just arranged to chat with her about counselling in general, not realising that she trained at the Albany Centre. And so, yeah, once I'd kind of like talked with her about it, that was kind of, you know, I heard a lot more of detail about it, because it's, yeah, it was one that looked quite different from everywhere else. I think the key factors that stood out when I was finding out about it was that it seemed very practical. It had got talking with Trish, she was explaining how it was very much, you know, yes, learning the theory, but straight away putting it into practice in skills sessions. And I liked the idea of there being lots of external speakers. And then the other thing was the fact that although there was going to be a fair amount of theory and reading, that wasn't the main place of learning. That is, you know, that kind of sits to one side in terms of the learning being the kind of like the practical element first and foremost. So I think that was what made it look really different to other courses. Getting there, I was really excited because I'd been waiting to do this for a long time, and there was quite a few people kind of like waiting outside, so we kind of like had those tentative introductions of what's your name. But I think what was really great was straight away getting into the group process, which wasn't something that I'd really anticipated. I just expected that it would be somebody talking at us for a while, telling us about how the course was going to run and telling us some theory, and that was going to be a very kind of like bog standard learning day. And it wasn't. It was the kind of day where you go in and you just meet some people and got to know them. And then in the afternoon, we got straight into skills, and everybody at lunchtime was a little bit nervous about like, what's the afternoon going to be like? But actually it was absolutely the right thing, because it set the tone for the rest of the course. So yeah, I went away having loved it my first day. It was really exciting. I think there's so many things. The big thing was the chance to have some time to kind of like think about my own personal development and put all the kind of ideas that we were learning on the course into that kind of personal kind of context. I love the fact that I could use myself as a bit of an experiment when we were learning about the skills and kind of trying to understand them, how they related to me. But I think the other thing was getting to know people on the course. There's not many contexts in your life where you don't first get to know people by finding out what their job is and who their family is. And one of the things that you do on this course is you get to know who they are before what they are. And that was really, really good. That's what I enjoyed most. But I think the thing that I hadn't anticipated enjoying was doing the reflective journals, because actually that was the thing that most consolidated the learning, and it was kind of just, it was a task to do that moved you forward. And I'm not an essay writer, I'm a maths teacher, and I was thinking that that was going to be the hardest part, but actually it was the thing that I enjoyed most. It's one of those things where you want to be able to put in enough time to it. It's one of those things that the more you put in, the more you're going to get out. And I found the time commitment really challenging. I work a full-time job that has a lot of hours. And so, you know, rocking up at, 7 o'clock after a long day at work for 3 hours of training on a Thursday evening, that was hard. I never not wanted to go, but it was sometimes hard fitting everything in. And I think much as the group process is an integral part of the course, it is actually really hard because it's not something that you do anywhere else. So kind of learning as a group, and sometimes there's conflict, and that can be really challenging if it's not something that you've experienced anywhere else. So I found that quite hard until we'd kind of got, oh, this is actually a really beneficial thing. So I think understanding that going through that kind of group process was really important. Yeah, getting to that point was really challenging. I think the key benefit is that it was nice having a 1-year course, because it meant that it's cemented that this going down this counselling journey is something that I actually really want to do and that I'm going to enjoy. So that's been a huge benefit. But I think that being able, it's provided me with a place where I can kind of safely explore my own feelings and thoughts about things when I've been making some really big decisions in my life. And I don't think that in the fast pace of normal life, I would have had that chance to do that. And it's having the support of a group. I've really benefited. There's been some really big things that have happened over the course of the last year, and having this group of people around that you can kind of bounce around how you're feeling about those things, it's been brilliant. And I think that there isn't anywhere else that you do that with a group of people. I think the overall experience has been hugely positive for me. It was interesting on the course to find that not everybody feels as positive, and that's a process to kind of work through as well. That's not to say that there weren't times when I was at the course thinking I'm having a miserable time at this very moment, but I think that that's again something that I can reflect on and say, well, actually, why wasn't I enjoying that bit, or why wasn't that positive? So I think being able to kind of like sit with comfortable emotions as something, and comfortable emotions as something that it's allowed me to experience. But I think it's, in so many ways, it's surpassed all my expectations. I felt at the beginning of the course, I was just dipping my toe in the water of, let's just see, I think I want to do this counselling, but I'm not really sure. And this has been a way of just dipping it in. Now, at the end of it, I literally feel like, not if I just kind of dip my toe in, I'm in up to my neck, I'm ready to start the swimming. It's that kind of, it's been that much of a journey in the kind of 9 months of the course. So hugely positive. But I think it's worth saying that it's not just a positive experience that you feel comfortable with all of the time, and you have to go through that kind of those uncomfortable emotions at the same time. Exciting, and then the other one is supportive, but also challenging. Absolutely. I think one of the hardest things is it's a big commitment, and people might be unsure about whether to put in that huge time commitment and that financial commitment. But for me, I would recommend it because it's one of those things that, as I said, if you put a lot in, you're going to reap huge rewards whether or not you carry on with the counselling journey. I have changed hugely in terms of how I act with the people around me. And there's so many of the skills that I've learned that I'm using in my wider life and in my job, my teaching job. So it's something that it's a standalone, yes, as well as being something that allows you to kind of explore ideas about taking counselling further.